part of my mission is to help bring the frequency of heaven to earth, but through the body. That heaven is not a destination, that it is a vibration, and that we can bring the frequency of heaven to earth through our bodies. And why I think this is so radical is that so many of us, especially through like Judeo-Christian, mythology, we've seen God as something outside, something away from, that it's somewhere to go. And I almost think that in like its darkest form, Christianity especially can be a very exaggerated version of the I'll be happy when syndrome of like, I'm willing to suffer through this life for a perceived payoff in the future. And I just can't sign up for that reality. And like, I'm not anti-Christian. Like I am pro anything that brings more joy, more connection, more feeling like nature has our back, more connection to self. Like I am pro anything that does that for people.
Yes.
And for me personally, I have found the practices that celebrate the simultaneity of individuality and totality, the practices that celebrate our humanity and our divinity in equal measure at the same time. Those are the things that allow my life to feel like heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the embodiment piece and experiencing heaven through our bodies. It sounds amazing, right?
Yeah.
But why are we so... I feel like I remember a time in my life, and I remember a time in Krista's life too, and I've really seen her just transform over the last year, where any talk of sex or anything like that just sent us into giggles and blushing, and we're not going to touch that.
Yeah.
Kind of a closing off and a brushing off. And I guess, what have you seen in your work with people as far as like the origins of that? You mentioned Christianity and all of that, but is there something deeper here as far as like our disconnection with our body? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of directions we could go. I want to talk about how we've been trained to not feel our feelings.
Yes.
I want to talk about how we've been trained and shamed out of our pleasure to make us think that that is unholy, when I think that nothing could be further than the truth. For thousands of years, ecstasy was actually seen as a purifying force, as a way to get closer to God, as a way to purify the vessel, as a way to bring the frequency of heaven to earth. But I think it starts very early from like, the moment when we're in heaven, like we're in the womb, right? Just connected to source, all of our needs being met in this like amniotic sac of bliss and fulfillment and love. And then we go through this massive initiation, and suddenly it's fluorescent lights and forceps and beeping and whatever the F else that's happening in this 3D reality. Like the way we've taken ceremony out of birth is a whole other podcast crazy. For another day. But that intense experience of like, oh, welcome to the 3D world, baby's crying. What's the first thing we do? Shh, don't cry, you're fine. Shh, don't cry. So like immediately we're taught to override our feelings, and that just gets more like, don't cry, have a toy. Don't cry, have an iPad. Don't cry, have a bottle. Don't cry, have some booze, have some coffee, have some pot, have some pills. But whatever you do not feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Because I've never been taught how to feel my feelings. So your feelings make me feel uncomfortable. And so since parents don't know how to regulate their emotions, we keep overriding our children. You're fine. You're okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? When it's like, no, they just fell down. They're bleeding. They're in pain. They're not okay. They're hurting.
Yeah.
So how do we sit with, hold space for, honor their experience without trying to fix anything? And so that's actually been a lot of my work, is just getting big enough and getting comfortable enough with my own feelings, getting brave enough to feel my own fucking feelings so that I can actually hold space for my students and hold space on my retreats and hold space so that people don't feel othered, or that there's something wrong with them or judged, or that there's something to fix, when they're simply doing the thing that feelings were made for, which is to be felt.
Yes.
Right? Like of all of the work that I've done, medicine ceremonies, darkness retreats, 16 years studying the Vedas, 16 years meditating, I just keep coming back to this simple truth, which is that feelings are meant for feeling.
Yeah.
That feelings are meant for feeling. And so part of this formula, part of this body of work that I'm doing with the pleasure, is just teaching people how to feel at all. Like, because good luck accessing the full spectrum of your ecstasy if you've been numbing your pain for 4 decades. It's like we got to learn how to go into the darkness first and alchemize that. And then the good news is that it makes space for more joy. Like the darkness really does carve out space for more joy. The pain carves out space for more ecstasy.
Yes.
And then once your capacity is bigger, then you can start to use that pleasure to pray. And this is sort of like the crux of this new body of work for me, is that it's like the simplest embodied manifesting formula ever, which is feel good, place the order, feel good. Like feel good, place the order, feel good. And that might sound like an override or bypassing, but it's not. It's like, I don't mean put a happy face sticker on top of trauma that's unprocessed. I don't mean pretending that everything is fine. I mean doing whatever the fuck it takes to actually sustainably and reliably and self-sufficiently feel good.
Yeah.
And that usually means facing your trauma, doing some inner child work, it's cleaning up your lies, telling the truth, healing your codependence, dealing with your addiction, like whatever it is, whatever we've been doing to numb, we got to face that. We got to own that. We got to sit in that. We got to feel those feelings. But here's the good news. Within like 90 seconds of crying, you start to feel better. You give me 2 minutes of a rage song, you're going to start to have a little bit of inkling of ecstasy starting to bubble up in your body. It's the decades of pretending that you're fine that actually costs us so much and makes us so sick.
And decades of avoiding because the fear of not coming back after feeling that, really the depths of what that feeling is. I think that's what I've observed in a lot of people. That's what I've experienced, where will I come back from actually feeling that? That feels too much, too scary, too dark, too deep. And to your point, it's so temporary. Like it is so temporary.
If you go all the way in.